What it is, what it do, cyber world. It is your girl, the one, the only Ash Said It. AshSaidIt.com, AshSaidIt.com. Welcome to the Ash Said It Daily Podcast Show. I appreciate you guys for all of your love and support. Over 1,400 episodes and 500,000 streams worldwide. None of this would be possible without you guys, so I thank you so very much. I appreciate and love y'all. Now, today is a special day. Today, I'm excited. I am on Cloud9. I have got two members of the Grammy-nominated group, the Nappy Roots. I got Skinny and Skills here with me. What's up, y'all?
What up? What's up?
How y'all doing today? Awesome. All right. So for those people out there that may be sleeping up under a rock somewhere, and I don't know if they live in a cave, and then unaware of the Nappy Roots, can we get a little bit of a history on who you guys are and where you came from?
For sure. Well, this is Skinny Deville. Thank you for having me or having us out here on this awesome day. Nappy Roots started back in Western Kentucky, which is in Bowling Green, Kentucky, back in the mid-'90s. I would say between the years of 95 and 97, we formed this collective of MCs and producers and entrepreneurs, and we just stuck together, you know, and we hung out and we had, some of us had classes together. We hung out after class, house parties. We was always the guys kind of freestyling in the corner. Everyone kind of came possibly in the Nappy Roots, possibly through a recommendation, or you got to holler at so-and-so, he's dope. And, you know, just over the years, we just got really cool and became good friends. We put out our first album, Country Fried Fest, in 1998. And Mike Karen, A&R from Atlantic Records at the time, looked us up, called us, said, you know, he wanted to take a meeting with us, and met him in Nashville. And that was the summer of 98. And by that October, we were signed to Atlantic. We put out our first album that didn't come out. It got shelved. We ended up making some more kind of independent projects to hold us over and to kind of increase our skills. We ended up coming out with Watermelon Chicken and Grits in 2002. And, you know, we worked our asses off to try to get those records out, like All Knob, Po Folks. And we just really learned the game as, you know, some country boys and try to make a difference back then. And, you know, fast forward umpteen years later, here we are. We lost two members just to growth and development and maturity. They didn't die. They just decided to go their own way, do their own thing. But, you know, and just kind of kept it moving from there.
Yeah. And you said something very powerful that I really, I commend. And that's one of the themes that I take with me everywhere I go, no matter who I'm working with or what I got going on or what I'm doing, is you said that they shelved your first project. You didn't give
did
up.
Not come out.
You didn't give up though. You didn't know, it's like, man, you know what I'm saying? They shelved that project. You know what? I'm about to go get me this job out here. No, but y'all kept going to persevere. And that is what is really, that stands apart. That sets y'all apart from everybody else. So kudos to y'all on that one. That's a beautiful thing.
We didn't know no better at the time. We just didn't want to accept that was the end result. They just, pretty much what was happening was, at the time, we didn't really have a sound. And coming from Kentucky, there really was no identity at the time. And so not having a direct sound or having identity, we kind of sound like every MC that was out there in the world. And the marketing department, it was a good album. So we thought, we put our all into it, but they just didn't know how to market that from coming out of Kentucky. And so we had to pretty much start all the way over. I mean, we ended up coming to Atlanta in 2000, 2001, and we just started all over. And we found an awesome producer who was from Kansas City at the time named Brew Chambers. And he was trying to, you know, get his foot in the door as well. And so he was quite affordable, even though we blew through our first budget. He was able to record, and we found ways to be, you know, creative. We got new records done. We ended up coming up with Set It Out, Hustler, and All Knob were the first 2 or 3 records we ended up doing to get that album started. And it just started the wheels back spinning again.
Yes.
And, you know, again, we ended up having a tour for 9 months just to get the word out about All Knob. But just sticking with it and just grinding and grinding and grinding. And, again, not letting no be the answer that you accept. And, you know, here we are now still again. Like as I tell the story sometimes, I'm amazed at it because it doesn't, you know, I don't know if that story would work in 2020.
Well,
I don't know. Maybe it would, maybe it wouldn't.
I think it still does because, like I said, the underhanded part of it is that I can't even wrap my mind around how many people that I've worked with throughout the years in the music industry underground that they first single, hit the bottom and then they just was like, well, that's it. Maybe this wasn't it for me. Maybe I wasn't supposed to do this. You know what I'm saying? And if you really have a passion for it, if it drives you, if it's in your blood and it keeps you pumped up, you can't go to sleep at night. It gets you so excited. You got to find some other way of making it happen. And y'all did that. Y'all did it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and it definitely was a challenge. Anytime you're trying to keep this fish scale, it's definitely a challenge. Keeping 6 men together, staying friends and making the same sacrifices. So we had to believe in Nappy Roots. And even to this day, we still have that belief that our best days are ahead of us, as a group. And so we just continue to do what we're doing and take on new ventures. And to me, these are the best days. These are some of the funnest times of Nappy Roots in the past 20 years.
Absolutely. Now, with the current state of events, I know everybody that sees what's going on the news, whether you're on the internet or just out in the streets, there's just so much craziness going on as far as achieving social justice. I feel as though Blind Faith was ahead of its time. It was absolutely appropriate for this time. And I wanted to get from you guys, how did that track particularly come about?
Oh, man. It was ahead of its time. This is Skinny again. We recorded that song last September.
Wow.
And we've been working. It takes us a while to make albums for some reason. Some because we tour. We do about 100 shows. Well, before COVID-19 hit, we was averaging about 100 shows a year as an independent artist. Some years we hit 85. Some years we hit 102. But the average is about 100 that we try to be as an independent artist. Trying to keep up with Tech Nine and his tour dates was always the goal as an independent artist. But because we tour so much and we kind of live in 2 separate zip codes, and we always try to take our time to make records, albums. So, for example, Watermelon Chicken and Grits took about 2 years to make, give or take. The Humdinger took about 3 years to make. And the 40 Acres Project, which we released as of late, those took about two years to make as well. So we're on the same kind of trajectory with that. So with that said, we recorded Blind Faith last September, just just going along with life, and that was just a song that we just made. It didn't even have a title at the time, and our producer 808 Blake, he heard what we were talking about. He's like, call it Blind Faith, and we was like, all right. And we just sat on it, and we was going to try to get it out in December, thinking, it was kind of chill, kind of fall, kind of, dark and kind of layup weathery and, just not too happy-go-lucky type of record.
Yeah. And
because we were touring, we just never got back to really getting it back into the system with who we distributed with, which is Inquiry.
Yeah.
And so this past January, we were touring, and just trying to line up things for this year, not knowing that we was pretty much done with the album. But right around, I want to say, beginning of March, we started getting things lined up for the new album, and we decided that should be our first single in March. And so we put it into the system in March, 3 months ahead, just so we can get ahead of everything and not kind of be behind the ball.
Yeah.
And as an independent artist, you want to be hands-on, but you got to kind of give yourself enough runway to take off. We're looking at a passenger airliner versus a helicopter. When you're looking independent, you're looking at your own money you're putting in, things of that nature. You kind of want to be right. And so we pushed that song into the system in March. And we was, then all of a sudden, all these things started unfolding in the world. And it was just like, wow. And then, these unfortunate deaths of black people, Again, it's a cycle. We put out a song 2 years ago called Call the Cops, or a few years ago, and we was about to put the video out, and then Mike Brown got killed. And so that song Call the Cops really didn't, it was kind of like, oh, did we do it? But it was already out. We just put the video out. The song was already out. But for this song, Blind Faith, we thought about it as it got closer to the release date of it, and was like, do we change the date, or do we just lean in and just, let this be the song of the soundtrack to life? And so we just made the decision to just kind of stick with it, trust our instincts, and the people need to hear this. And this is something that has a message and a moral to it. And you know, as we were going through the protests and stuff I'm trying to think who was it really that was the real catalyst for the video, but it was all of them. Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, it was all of that was captured at the same time. And our director, Ife, he was shooting the video. He was shooting it in Oregon. We were trying to make a pandemic video. We wasn't going to be in the video because it wasn't safe to travel. We didn't want to try to complicate everyone and try to fly equipment in and this, that, and other. So we just had him shoot. He shot a lot of our videos before. But we just had him just kind of just grab clips of things and make a video. And he just captured it exactly what was going on in the mood. And so the video matches the song, and the song matches what's going on. And I don't want to say we got lucky, but this is something that wasn't planned to be, you know, a part of what's happening right now.
Yeah.
It wasn't premeditated.
Yeah, and actually seeing and watching the video, and it's like, it's replaying back everything, but also it's highlighting things. So it's like, this is undeniable. You know, people can't sit up there and look at the news and look at these videos and say, oh, well, you know, it's not that serious. It's not. No, like, you're putting the facts out there. I think that it was put out there in the most prolific way. It was raw. The reenactments in it, like, I was like, wow, that's amazing. You know what I'm saying? You can't look at that stuff and not be affected by it.
Yeah, and as artists, like, we're glad that we do have a platform to do stuff like that. You know, everybody's looking for a way to chip in and help, and I feel like that's one of the best ways we could bring even more awareness to the stuff going on, things going on.
Yeah, no, y'all definitely doing it with that. So,
well, thank you.
But all right, so let's talk a little bit about this upcoming album, 40. What we gonna talk about? What's the feel on 40?
Yeah, so how we kind of look at it, 40, as I spoke on earlier, the 40 Acres Project. That's kind of our last albums that we released. The first one was, I think, 2015. That was the 40 Acres Project. We came back kind of soon with the second one. I think that another 40 Acres came out the following year, but it took a full year for that to come out. That was another 40 Acres. If you look them up, the 40 Acres Project is the one with the rooster with the afro, and then another 40 Acres is the yellow hog with the afro. We have a new animal with an afro on this one. I don't want to leak it out too soon yet. But the animal symbolizes longevity, and slow and steady wins the race. As a couple clues and hints. But this is a trilogy for us. We worked with 808 Blake on both albums, and this album right here, we tried to open it up a little bit to work with some of the other producers that produce for Nappy Roots as a whole, versus just the Skinny and Scales collective. And this album, again, took about 2.5 years to make. And so we're really just taking our time with the music that we've been making, living with it, and making sure that the right songs make it to still make our goal and vision of timeless music still a reality for us. Because, you know, if it doesn't fly to us, then we probably don't want y'all to hear it. Right. So that's kind of how we use the rule of thumb for all of our music. We don't really just make music just because so-and-so made a record. We got to make it because it's hot. We try to make music that feels good to us first. Yeah. And it represents us and who we are as a unit and collective and as individuals. Yeah. And so this new album, 40, is just, you know, you can take 40, the number 40, and break it down so many different ways. You know, and so many different meanings, whether it's scientific, whether it's mathematic, whether it's religious. And for me, the album 40 just means it's, you know, 40 minutes of just nonstop Nappy Roots bangers, for real. Like, I don't want to get too deep in the meaning and start saying it's supposed to be this way or that way, but it's the same method. You know, we just stirred the pot, we put, you know, a nice thing of, you know, herbs and vegetables and certain types of meats, and it's like a gumbo almost. Gotcha. And it's going to be an amazing album, probably one of our best albums to date. And being that we have matured in the game, and we've seen things, and we've gotten older, and our families have grown, you know, our perspective has changed a little bit from not just, you know, happy, you know, to be alive college kids, into, you know, grown men, into, you know, responsibilities, trials and tribulations, successes and failures. But now it's kind of like, all right, we figured this living thing out. It's not so hard as you think it is. Keep a positive attitude. Stay true to yourself and your friends. Stay true to your family. And do good, and good things will come back. And that's kind of just how the MO of Nappy Roots has always been. But you'll hear it in the music that we're putting out this summer. And as the album comes out in September, you know, what I just said will make even that much more sense.
Yeah. We looking forward to it. You know, we on the edge of our chair. We waiting. You know what I'm saying? Because we know that y'all, like you said, y'all don't drop nothing unless it's right. You know, it got to be right.
Sure. I mean, you know, your name is on the line. You know who you are.
Yeah.
You know, and this is my job in a sense. Even though I love to do it, I don't feel like it's a job, but it is my job.
Yeah.
But it's my responsibility to make sure that I say what I really meant, but also that I've laid it down, you know, technically and sonically right. And really try to make something that, you know, resonates and stand the test of time. I go back to, you know, Motown and you know, the things of the 60s and 70s. And then those movements, whether it was civil rights that was at the time or the Vietnam War or just being alive in the 60s, 70s, and 80s. And those artists, you know, and hip-hop when it first started in the 80s and 90s. And I have to put my part, I have to do my part to have that still be a part of our music. And if I didn't do that, then I don't think people should need to hear it.
This is facts. Now, you guys have another venture that you've jumped off into. Now, how is Atlantucky Brewing doing due to the COVID-19 situation?
Yeah, that's the exciting stuff that we have going on right now, too. The Atlantucky, which is our brewery in development right now that Nappy Roots have taken on, and it's very exciting. Right now is actually a good time for us to be working on beer because we can't get out and do a lot of other stuff like tour. So we're able to sit home and perfect that craft, the actual craft of making craft beer. And just networking and finding other companies to collaborate with. But one of the most exciting things for Atlantucky right now is that we work with two different breweries with a beer called Black is Beautiful that people are doing around the country to bring awareness and money to Black Lives Matter movement around the country. And we was able to do that with Archer's Brewery in Hateville as well as Skyflaw in Atlanta, Georgia. And these people are reaching out to Atlantucky, you know, asking us to be a part of the Black is Beautiful beer. And that's just another way for us to contribute to the whole movement, you know, just by using our artistry, from making music, using the videos to bring awareness, to making a beer that all proceeds go back to Black Lives Matter movement. So that's very exciting for me in this time of COVID, where we can sit down and focus on a whole nother venture and perfect it in this off time. But keep a lookout for Black is Beautiful. The beer should be all over the place, all over the country, and it's a good way to donate. You can have a beer and at the same time donate money to the cause.
I'm loving it. It's sounding good.
And we started drinking beer in college, you know, and so those things are old habits die hard that direction. And what we found was, as we go to a city to do a show, you know, we'll have some downtime between sound check and the show time. And so we would just go hit a brewery and just check them out and see what's good, and maybe invite some people from the brewery to the show. And we found out that actually worked. You know, you see maybe 15, 20 more people that came to the show that you saw a couple hours before, and they were fans of Nappy Roots. Maybe they didn't know we was coming in town. And so when you do 100 shows a year, you start racking up a lot of breweries that you take a tour on. And the laws have changed in some of the states where it's not so hard to purchase beer from a craft brewery. Most of the times, several years ago, you had to maybe take a tour of the brewery, and you got drink tickets, and you can only have maybe 3 drinks. But now the laws have changed where you can actually buy beer from the brewery directly. And so that opened up the opportunities for us to become more accessible to craft beer. And then we just started working with different breweries and collaborating with them. And that really just got our wheels spinning, like, if it was Scale's idea, like, we can probably do this ourselves. And once he realized how to make beer, he kind of told me over the phone how to make beer. I was like, all right, I guess we can try to go down this road. And he just had one of our mentors, his name is William Teasley from Console Brewing. He came over, brought all his little equipment. And we just made a beer in Scale's backyard. And the equipment, it's a learning curve to making beer, almost as if you was trying to become a recording engineer. You know, you walk into a studio, you see knobs and buttons. It looks very intimidating when you get to a brewery. You see all the stainless steel, and they start talking about words and things that you never even heard before. It's a whole other language. But we took that as a challenge, and we took that as opportunity because there's not a lot of us in diversity in craft beer.
Yeah.
And so with that, we wanted to, be the tip of the spear within that, and if we can do this, we can maybe show other people that you don't have to be just a rapper or a professional ball player. You can be a brewer.
Yeah.
And what we found is there's a lot of us in craft beer that are in different levels of it, whether you're a bartender at a brewery, or you're in the lab as a chemist or in a brewery, or you're working with yeast, or you're actually brewing the beer, and you know how that process is. And so we found, even here in Atlanta, so many different black brewers that are trying to get their start, and we just felt, right at home within this, as an independent hip-hop artist and label, that we could take these same opportunities and bring that to craft beer. And so this is our third or fourth year now doing it. We have a nice setup at our spot. We're looking to expand over the next couple of years. A lot of opportunities have came to us based off who we were as Nappy Roots, but because we are making beer, those are opportunities that are they triple because we have this new talent that just as being a rapper wouldn't have gotten us to the level in the conversation that we're having now with some of these companies.
Yeah.
Like Skills mentioned, the Black is Beautiful. I think it's over 700 breweries now all over the world that are making this beer, and they all the proceeds are going to different things like Black Lives Matter or social injustice or community activism or bailing out people that maybe got arrested in a protest. Yeah. And so the money can go in different directions, and so it's for a good cause, and that kind of is the highlight for me with craft beer is that's what's happening now. And those opportunities are coming in the craft beer, that we can also help change the culture and the community and just how we are thinking. As African Americans, there's not really it's not really an open market for craft beer per se. We just drink beer, and they'll drink Heineken's, Coronas, and then they'll drink a couple, name brands. But craft beer is like a layer to an onion. There's so many layers and levels to craft beer that if the hip hop community really got aware of that, there's so much opportunity for us in that industry. And I just want to help bring awareness to that and show these young or the next generation, my son's generation. My son is 20. He's not able to drink yet, but he will be in a few years. And if I can get him maybe doing that versus hard liquor, that might be something that we can kind of chill and bond on and sit out after a hard day's work and talk about it over a good, nice cold one. Yeah. And you can bring a Trump supporter and someone who's voting for Biden, and you can put a beer right there between them, and they'll both drink that beer and have a conversation. And it's non-political, and I think that's a good thing for us and hip-hop.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, and like you said, a lot in our community would not even know about craft beer. Like me, myself, I was introduced maybe 2 or 3 years ago. I went on a trip with some friends, and they had this tour of different breweries, and I'd never been to a brewery before. And I was like, we just gonna taste beer? Okay, what's the difference between this and what's store-bought? And there is absolutely just a colossal difference. You can't even compare craft beer to what you buy at stores. It's completely different. The taste, the aromas, how it's made, and all those different things go into it. And then when you have someone that's knowledgeable there that actually can describe to you or tell you or walk you through the different points of what it is that what differentiates this one from the next one, it's amazing. It's absolutely amazing. So yeah, we definitely need to open up some minds, and I think that y'all are doing that with Atlantucky. We definitely gonna push behind y'all in that. But
well, thanks, man.
Definitely, but
that's the goal, though. You hit it right on the head.
Oh yeah, oh absolutely. I mean, because in your mind, if you're not exposed to something, you don't know. You would never know. I would have if I hadn't gone on that trip, I would still be like, beer is beer. I'm not going to worry about that. But no, craft beer is completely different. We could do a whole show just on craft beer, but we're not going to do that today. All right, so, but But no, but much more success to you, brothers. Keep doing what you've been doing for social justice, for educating our people, for educating the world, and putting some good vibrations out there. That's what we really need right now. We need some more good vibrations, good brothers like y'all doing that, and expanding people's minds. I feel as though y'all have made that somewhat of your social responsibility, is to, like you said, you're putting out good music, but you're putting out music with a message. And that accounts for a lot more. A whole lot more.
Thank you.
And
we think so too. Yeah. After the beat stops playing and you stop singing the hook, what is left? What is after that? And I think that's where the lyrics come in.
Yeah.
And some people are lyrically inclined, but they're not really saying nothing. They're just putting words together that rhyme and sound cool. And those artists that are actually doing that and making it make sense, and you can pull something from it. And I think music with a moral, like a story. What's the moral to the story? What did you learn from this? Yeah. This 3 minutes, and if it makes your day better, or it makes you be more cautious of the police, or it makes you say, I'm gonna get up and actually try today to have a good day, or I'm gonna take care of my kids a little more, or whatever the music tells you to do. We want it to be kind of on a positive, motivational note than a destructive, self-sabotaging note.
Yes,
there's enough music out there that can take us in the wrong direction, and not enough of it in the right direction.
We could do a whole nother show about that. But
COVID-19 has us with a little bit of time on our hands, so whenever you want to circle back to some of these other issues.
Yeah, absolutely. But I appreciate y'all. Skinny Skills, thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate y'all for doing that, because I know, like I said, there's 1,000,003 things that y'all could be doing. Y'all took time out of your schedule to chat it up and chop it up with your girl. I appreciate that. I really do.
Not a problem. Thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, and much more success to you guys. Let everyone know the best way to follow you guys, and, of course, to follow your social media.
Yeah, for sure. You can check us out at nappyroots.com. It's pretty much self-explanatory from there. But if you don't want to go to the .com, you have your phone, you can check us out on our IG and Twitter at Nappy Roots. You can check us out on Facebook at Nappy Roots Music, on YouTube at Nappy Roots TV, and you can just search Nappy Roots in your Google or your search engine, and whatever pops up, more than likely it's something that we've done in the last 15, 20 years that you can kind of just go down a rabbit hole and just see what's out there. We have enough music for you to not just worry about what we did last week. We have music that, again, dates back to the early 2000s that you can enjoy and just see how far we came and, why we're still here.
Yeah.
Like I said, we're not hard to find. You can check out our tour dates if you go to Bands in Town. If you follow artists on Bands in Town, just type in Nappy Roots and see what our upcoming tour dates are. We are going to be back out on the road this fall and summer. Just letting some of these uncertainties become more certain before we just put ourselves and our family and the fans at risk. But we do have plans to get back out on the road, and like I said, just naproots.com for all of those things I just listed. You're there to find a nice little starting place.
Yes, definitely. And I appreciate each and every one of you guys, everyone that's been supporting the movement, which is ashsaidit.com. Keeping in mind, anyone to tell you that you can't do what you want to do, you look them square in the face, you tell them, don't believe me. Just watch. Watch what I do. Watch me make it happen. Watch me make history. That's what we're doing this for. We're doing this for the history books. Social media is nice, but real life, so much better. Until next time, you guys.